We have more ways to connect with each other than at any point in human history. So, why do so many of us feel more alone than ever? Let's get into it. I mean, just think about it for a second. Right now, on your phone, you have access to literally thousands of potential partners. It's a level of choice our parents or grandparents could never have imagined. You can wake up, and by the time you've finished your morning coffee, you could have a date lined up for tonight. The speed, the convenience, it's all just right there at your fingertips. But here's the big question, the one that I think a lot of us are asking. With all of this access, all this choice, why does finding a real, genuine connection feel so impossible? And that question really gets to the heart of the problem. We've built this world with infinite options for romance, but in the process, we've made the connections themselves incredibly fragile. On paper, it looks amazing, right? We are, by all digital measures, the most connected generation to ever exist. And yet, you feel it, don't you? That sense that a great conversation or a promising first date can just evaporate, poof, gone in an instant, without any explanation. This has created a really tough dating culture, a culture of what you could call disposable people. It's this idea that everyone is replaceable, and we're always just one swipe away from finding something slightly better. So what's actually going on in our brains to make us act this way? Well, there's a really powerful psychological idea that explains almost all of it. It's called the paradox of choice. The whole theory, which comes from psychologist Barry Schwartz, is kind of mind-bending, but also makes perfect sense. The more options you have, the less happy you are with whatever you end up choosing. And this slide just nails it. If you have two choices, you just pick one, and you feel great. No big deal. But give yourself 200 choices. Suddenly, you're not choosing. You're analyzing. You're worrying. You're obsessed with the opportunity cost, all the other people you didn't pick. And that's exactly what dating has become. We're not looking for a soulmate anymore. We're shopping for a partner. We're filtering by height, job, and location, like we're trying to find the perfect pair of sneakers on Amazon. This whole paradox of choice thing, it feeds into something even more damaging. Something called the next best thing syndrome. You know, we always think that relationships end because the chemistry fizzled out or you just weren't compatible. But what if the real killer of modern love is something totally different? It's that little voice in the back of your head, that constant, nagging whisper that says, yeah, this person is great, but what if someone even better is just around the corner? 50. Just look at that number. What's so special about 50? Well, it perfectly captures the mindset that's sabotaging connection before it can even start. Because why would you ever work through a small disagreement or a moment of doubt with the person you're with when your brain is screaming at you that there are 50 other potential options waiting for you in your DMs? It makes giving up the easiest choice. And what happens then? We stop trying to build a life with someone. Instead, we're just building rosters. We're keeping our options open, trading deep intimacy for the cheap thrill of something new. And all of this leads to this weird, defensive game we all seem to be playing, a game of who can care less. Why are we so terrified of showing that we're actually invested? It really all boils down to the emotional heart of this problem. We are terrified of being the one who cares more. And you know, the logic is kind of twisted, but it makes sense. If you believe everyone is disposable, then actually caring about someone feels like a huge risk. It feels like a liability. So we've basically traded the old way for the new way. We've swapped the slow burn for a fast burnout. We replaced real intimacy with the vague situationship, and we've ditched vulnerability for this cool, protective detachment because we're scared that if someone sees our flaws, they'll just ghost. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds pretty bleak, right? But how do we get out of this cycle? Well, the cure isn't about finding more options. It's about choosing depth over breadth. And the path forward is actually pretty clear. First, we have to let go of this myth of the perfect person. They don't exist. Second, maybe just try taking a break from the endless scroll, just for a month. See what happens. And third, we have to intentionally reclaim the slow burn. Give one connection the actual time and attention it needs to grow. So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. In this crazy world of modern dating, maybe the most rebellious thing you can do is just choose one person and give them your focus. Because what if 1,000 options in your phone will never, ever feel as good as one person who truly, deeply knows you?